Let's talk about link component in nextjs in this video. So what I've done is essentially I have created a new nextjs 14 project. This project only has 3 routes. First one is our home page, then we have this contact page, and then we have this about page, right? And all of these pages are just returning simple JSX. Nothing fancy is going on. Okay. So if you have a look at the home page, you will essentially see 2 links. Clicking on these links will take you to about page. The only difference between these 2 links is that the first link uses the normal HTML anchor tag, while the second link uses the link component that we get from the Next.js. So what I'm going to be doing is I will essentially go to about page by clicking on these links one by one, and then we will take a look at the network activity, like what is actually being loaded when these page gets loaded, right? So what I will do, I'll simply go to network tab, and I will simply disable the cache, and I will switch the preset to fast 3G so that we can see a bit clearly like what is happening in the network tab. Okay, so in the home page, I will simply refresh the page, and we can see that a bunch of stuff is happening over here. So you could see we are essentially trying to load the CSS file, JavaScript file, right? Things like that. Okay, so let's just go to about page by clicking on this normal HTML anchor tag. So when I go to the normal HTML anchor tag, you will see it is going to take some time, and it is again trying to load all of those JavaScript and CSS file that we already loaded in the home page itself. So you can clearly see that this is not a very efficient and fast process. So let me just again go to the home page, and then I will clear all the logs. And this time what I will do, I will go to about page by clicking on this link component, right? So when I click on this link component, you will see that it is still taking a lot of time. And the reason for that is because we are running the development server. So let me just do one thing. Let me just come over here, and we will make a build of this project. This way it will become a bit more clear like what is happening. So now I will say npm run start, which will start the server from the build folder, right? So let's try going to home page again. And in the home page, we can see now a full list of stuff that is happening. So we are essentially loading font files, CSS files, and JavaScript files, right? So when you go to the about page using normal HTML anchor tag, we are again trying to load all of those resources, right? So let's just go back to the home page, and this time let's just go to about page by clicking on this link component. And when I do that, you can see that we do not see any kind of network activity here, and the page load is almost instantaneous. So at this point, we have this idea is that whenever you're using a link component, the navigation becomes really fast, right? Now this is not the only reason why you should use a link component in Next.js. There is this thing called prefetching, and what that means is that, let's say this about page contains multiple links. For example, one of the links could be that clicking on that link would take you to the contact page and things like that. So whenever those links just comes to viewport, what Next.js does, it will load the content of all those links in advance, so that if the user clicks on any of those links, the navigation happens really fast, thereby improving the overall user experience. So let's see that in action. What I will do in the about page only, I will come and add some lorem text, and at the bottom of this page I will simply create a link, and this link is going to take us to, let's say, contact page, right? Go to contact page. We'll save that, and we will again make the build again. So I will do npm run build to rebuild the entire project, and then we will start the server again. And now if I just refresh this about page, you will see all of the usual request, loading of font files, CSS files, JavaScript file, things like that. But here's the interesting thing. If I just clear all of the logs and now try to scroll down, and I just keep doing that until this link go to contact page comes to viewport. And you can see that in the network tab, we can see that there is a request that was being made to this contact route, right? So this process is called prefetching, so that whenever someone clicks on this, it just loads that page in an instant, very fast. right? So at this point, we have understood few important things. Whenever you're using link component, the navigation becomes really fast. And one of the ways the navigation becomes really fast is by using something called prefetching, where Next.js will try to load the content of any link that comes to viewport or about to come to viewport, loads their content in advance, so that if the user clicks on those links, it could load them in a very fast manner, right? Now let's talk about some of the props that are available when you're working with the link component. So there are essentially two important props that we need to know when we are working with a link component. The first prop is called replace, and this accepts a boolean value of true or false. The default value of this is false, right? So what happens is that I will again, since we have changed the code, we will start the development server. So the default value of the replace is false, right? Let me just go to home page. And right now what we can see is that when I go to about page and then from here probably go to contact page, I can use these arrow buttons in the browser to go back and forth between the pages. For example, I can click on this back button, it will take me to about page. And then when I click on this button again, it will take me to the home page. And the reason it works is because the browser keeps a history of all the pages that you have visited and in what order you have visited them. So what this replace prop allows us to do is that if you pass replace to true, what you're essentially saying is that whenever someone clicks on this to go to contact page, you simply override all that history, right? So what that means is that you can come to about page, you can then go to contact page, and notice what happens when I click on this back arrow button. So when you click on this back arrow button, you are essentially taken down to home page. And this is not the order that you have navigated. You essentially navigated from home page to about page and then from about page to contact page, right? So this is about a replace prop. Now there is this other prop available to us, which is called scroll. Default value of the scroll is essentially true. So what you're essentially saying with this is that whenever someone go to contact page, scroll to top of the page, right? And this is the default value of this. We can see this in action, right? So what I can do, I can probably go to contact page, add a bunch of text over here also, maybe something like this. And in the bottom of this, I can add another link called go to about page, and this should have an href value of about, okay? And also I will simply set the scroll to, let's say, false. So what I'm essentially saying is that whenever someone clicks on this link to go to about page, do not scroll to the top, okay? And in the about page also, let's set this to false. So what I'm essentially saying is that whenever someone goes to contact page, do not scroll to top, right? So what I can do, I can come here, I can go to about page. You can see this is the about page, right? I can go to the contact page from here. So when I click on this go to contact page, you will see that we are not scrolled to top. We are still at the bottom of that page, right? We are at the contact page, but we have not scrolled to the top. And similarly, this will happen when I click on this go to about page. It is not going to take us to the top of the page. But if I do something like this, for example, if I try to go from contact page to about page, I want the scroll to true. That essentially means that whenever someone opens the about page by clicking on this link, scroll to top, right? So that essentially becomes, let me just refresh this one. So let's just go to contact page, and in the contact page, we have not scrolled to top. But if I now try to go to about page, you will see that we have moved to top of the page. So this was about link component in Next.js. Thank you for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.